Vlaakith's will be done.
Can't give up now.
Baldur's Gate at last. We should find Sharess's caress. Voss will be waiting. It also promises to break us beyond repair. This ossified parasite does not make us more, but less. Do you not feel the cold where once there was heat? The void where your soul once resided? Galik, the Elder Brain. It could be the harbinger of the grand design and the doom of the Githyanki. The end time of the 16 planes will be upon us, and the Astral would be the first to fall. Very well. I will accept what this damnable Geithrock has to offer. Yisk Githkar Tafki Krashet. The air grows ever warmer, the hum of life within it louder. It may yet hatch, though not soon by my estimation. In its heat lives stimulation, and in its throbbing, exhilaration. An effigy of Githyanki future, incubated inside a fragile shell. Only if you want me to roast you over a campfire, using my blade as a spit. But it is true that I feel some manner of responsibility for this unhatched whelp. After we free Orpheus, we can revisit the matter. If the egg hatches beforehand, well, we will shield it from the Lich Queen's zealots. Whatever may come, I will not let Vlaakith poison the fledgling with lies. A camp once visited by a scheming devil is no safe haven for the unhatched. It has afforded us as much disquiet as it has rest. Leave the egg with me. There's no need for further discussion.
Life pulses from within. The parasite's thoughts whisper at the edge of your mind. It wants to share itself with you. It wants to be let in.
Go on. Don't be afraid. It only wants to help you evolve.
A coldness seeps through your veins as the tadpole's essence courses through you. Where it touches, you feel different. Your body has never felt more connected. Your mind present in every...
Perhaps, once the others see what you can do.
I'm listening. What about him? The Emperor may be loathsome, but it's right. Orpheus can disrupt a gay hive mind. A talent like that makes the Prince a powerful shield and a powerful weapon. Why destroy a weapon like that, when you can contain it in a relic and keep it for yourself? A weapon is only an asset for as long as it isn't pointed at you. The means of Vlaakith's own end has been ripped away from her. Better to have Orpheus killed than to risk his escape. Better to risk the rise of Illithids than let the Prince of the Comet deny her the godhood she craves. The historical slates describe Orpheus as a fearsome, terrible creature, powerful beyond measure, and enthralled by the Geich. So mad with power, he'd smash through the Githyanki Empire and deliver the shards to his illithid masters. And glowing with such psionic force that he and his red dragon blazed a trail through the skies. A lethal comet careening towards my people. Lies, of course. Vlaakith spread a false image of Orpheus as monstrous betrayer, and her knights as the butchers who sliced him through. She was right to fear him, I'll grant her that. So great is the comet, it could shatter her reign. Orpheus is honor guard, loyal to the end. Trapped by Vlaakith in the same prism holding their noble prince, fruitlessly hacking at the sphere that contains him. They see us as Geich, tadpoled husks in the Emperor's thrall. I regret their deaths, but I pledge to live as they perished, in the service of Gith's son. Very well.
Civilization beckons at last. It's no Waterdeep, but Baldur's Gate is a respectable runner-up. Or at least a close third.
Soldier, this is it. We're almost to the city. First through Worm's Crossing, then on to the lower city. Oh, it smells the exact same. 10 years on, but still home. Incredible.
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
Watching gods. But I never thought I would be happy to see the city again. Much less to smell it. The Harper safe house I spoke of is on the bridge at Worm's Crossing. Danthelon's dancing axe. Information. The Chosen have a head start on us. I'd like to know what they've done with it. You think me lonely? In truth, I prefer travel in a small pack such as this. Unburdened by numbers, we're free to act rather than react. A little like the old days. With allies, every bit as peculiar. Give or take a few tadpoles. Would you? In time, then. Perhaps once you found a rocking chair for me to doze off in. Ask it.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome.
Keeping very well, I hope?
When I first met you, saving yourself from Ceremorphosis was your greatest wish. And yet now, you've stepped closer to embracing it. I trust your leadership and respect your decisions, but I truly hope this is not something we come to regret. I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well. And Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves. I've been unfair to you, but honestly, you've surpassed even those. Seems my faith was more than well-founded.
Fate spins along as it should. Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrection instead? The girl has left to hew her own path. She left you a letter. Thou couldst read it, or thou couldst not. Such is the way of autonomy. Hast thou other business? Fate, dost thou require a new ally? Very well. Impossible. Thy party is full. As thou desire, choose.
This vessel is at thy disposal. Do what thou wilt. The soul remembers its invective, but remembers not its tongue.
Though spoken with a different voice, you recognize the eloquent drawl of Withers, the wraith that summoned the hireling.
They are but echoes. They recall not a manner of speech. Thus I lent them my rhetoric. To speak thusly takes little of my effort. Besides, what better use is there of time than discourse? Because you needed to speak to it. Because it feels correct. Fitting. These souls clawed their way back from the fugue plane for vengeance. The art of violence is one memory not lost to them, I assure you. Now, let us return to the fray.
Worm's Crossing. We could be inside the city walls before long. And I could be back where this all started. I hope so. So long as I'm willing to stroll right into the Mother Superior's trap, they have no reason to not tell me where to go. Worm's Crossing is a choke point. If I wanted to intercept a new arrival, I'd find somewhere before the bridge, blend in amongst the crowds, and wait. Most people seeking entry to the city will be refugees. I'd look wherever they're gathering. Almost pleasant traveling with company, if you ignore all the less pleasant aspects. I'd join you, but things are looking a tad crowded. Lead the way, then.
Incredible to be back. My home. My city. Baldur's Gate is where I first raised a glass in toast at the tender age of 14 and got so tipsy from wine, I puked in Dillard Portier's bushes. It's where the flaming fist chased me after I'd stolen a peach from a cart in the Wide. I got a good chewing out over it too. It's where my father taught me to hold a rapier, to read books of law, to know right from wrong. It's been 7 years since I left. It's no paradise, but it's home, and it's worth saving.
Worm's Crossing, the welcome mat of Baldur's Gate. This is it. I'm almost home. I won't lie. The thought hardly fills me with glee. Even with my newfound advantages, he's still an incredibly powerful vampire. But he's arrogant, too. If he does hear I'm back, he'll try to take me and expose himself in the process. Then I'll be able to strike. Neither will I, darling. At least I hope you'll come along for the show. But regardless, the plan is simple. Find him, stop him from gaining almighty power, and then really enjoy killing him. And if I can seize that almighty power for myself, well, all the better.
The city is close now. My former peers will be watching, no doubt. Waiting for my return. We should do what we can to find them. What they know could help us.
Excuse me, I can't find my mum. She was sick. She had spots on her face and hands. She went to go get some herbs, and she was supposed to come back the same day. That was last 10 day, though. Wow. Thanks. My mum would like this. She's the best cook in the world. And she taught me, too. I'll look for her. I think she'll probably come soon. Thanks a lot.
If I was a Sharon lookout, what in the hell was that?
Never felt an earthquake in Baldur's Gate before. What the hells? I'm not paid to debate the city rules.
Young lady, Shadowheart, a word. Not these intruder!
I'm paid to take down troublemakers.
I just lost a wager, thanks to you.
Who are you?
Someone who bet that you'd never be foolish enough to actually show your face in this city again. But here you are. And the gold in my purse is soon to take flight. There have been whispers about you, sister. About your faith, your loyalty. I can't help but feel the strangest twinge of disgust as I look upon you. Is it true? Has Our Lady forsaken you?
I know the truth. I know my parents still live. Tell me where they are, and I have no quarrel with you.
I'm afraid the quarrel is unavoidable, thanks to you. Now I must report your reappearance. If you are intent on bringing matters to a head, then seek out the House of Grief in the lower city. Though, if I was you, I'd be very tempted to just forget it all and disappear. You have some form at doing so, after all.
I'm not paid to debate with civilians.
No, we pay taxes for you to protect us, not these intruders.
Oh, gods. Not another protester. Go talk to Nestor if you must. I've got plenty on my plate with these mewling geese.
Waldarians! Stand with me against this tide that threatens to overwhelm us.
Please just go home. You're ruining a perfectly uneventful posting with this nonsense.
The Flaming Fists are supposed to protect this good city, but they allow trash and vermin to take our homes and goods. Ah, another visitor, I see. Listen, we keep letting the likes of you in, soon there'll be no room left for any of us true Baldarians. Another bleeding heart. Piss off and take it elsewhere.
Donations? Food, sundries, gold. These poor refugee sods need all the help they can get.
Well, if you must, I suppose it saves me the walk. But if you're gonna do it, hurry up.
Not sure why you were so keen to get in the barn, but if the manip says so...
I say, terribly decent of you to come over and exchange pleasantries. Oh, how kind of you to say. I have been growing my bristles out. It's something of an art, you see.
I hear you've been given permission to be here. Don't disappoint me.
gods! Are they going to see it? What happens if they don't see it? Yes! Oh, goodness, yes! I am a good dog! Fantastic stuff! Oh, yes, you're lovely. You can come back.
No, I'm afraid I must insist you do not pet the hound.
My love, you can't keep being so rude to strangers. It's just a dog.
All the grabbing and touching startles poor Biscotti. I will not apologise for caring about my boy. Isn't he just? I'm so very glad they let animals in the camp. Means Biscotti can be kept away from that awful war.
Oh, yes. As long as the dog is okay, he's happy. Give me strength.
Glad to see you. Glad to see anybody, really. It was a lonely road getting here through those abandoned farmlands, and I'm a sociable sort.
Oh, to be fair, for a miserable collection of shabby hovels jam-packed with wretched refugees, this place isn't bad at all.
Heads will roll for this. This transgression. This injustice. Oh, you poor, naive soul. Let me tell you a story. A perfectly respectable businessman wants to bring his, well, business into this fine city. And what do? They talk some absolute horse bollocks about papers and correct filing procedures and threw me in this slum. I should be loins deep in Chares's caress by now, not waddling about in filth.
We've got to get Grunch into the city, but he's in no shape to travel. I wonder, what if we hid him in a big barrel and nailed it shut?
Nah.
Don't know how we're gonna get Grunch into the city, wounded as he is. But we have to.
Whatever you need, I can't help you. Even talking is painful right now.
After a quick examination, you conclude that your patient is pretending to be wounded. You wonder why.
Really? This isn't necessary. I'm sure there are other people that need your help more urgently. Shh, not so loud. If those lads find out I'm faking, they might go off on their own. They're not ready for that. And frankly, I'd miss them. I don't really have any other friends. And I like those lads. So I think I'll stick around a while more.
Can't stand her, can't stand her, can't stand her! My sister-in-law. All law and no sister.
Actually got here safely, towing along my wife's sister and mother. Or maybe they towed me along, eh?
God, camping with the mother-in-law has been utter hell. Maybe I should just go on ahead into the city without her. Scouting, like.
My son Garen is pleased we got this far together.
But his wife's bitching is making me old before my time. Why can't he tell her to put a sock in it?
Washing my pits, washing my pits. This is the song when I'm... Aye! Could a bloke not get any bleeding privacy around here? Bunch of perverts, the lot of you.
So, you survived. That's more than many of my kin can say. It's mainly anger that keeps me going. Zevlor was supposed to lead us, but he froze when we needed him most. I haven't seen him since the massacre on the road, which is lucky for him.
Bex died. Bex is dead. I'm alive, but for what? I'm no one without Bex.
What a sad situation. The once proud tieflings of Elturel, reduced to beggars.
Hail, friend. Fine day, isn't it? Forgive me, you're in no mood to talk about the weather. Your journey here was a hard one, no doubt. Is this your first time in Baldur's Gate? A word of advice, then. You might not get as warm a welcome as in days gone by. Used to be you'd arrive knowing you'd a full belly and a warm bed waiting for you. Not anymore. These days, there's barely enough to go around. Add the refugees on top and, well, folk aren't feeling too generous. I've been asking myself the same question. I wouldn't be the first to interfere. Some well-to-dos in the city donated enough to see the newcomers right for the time being. Only they didn't bother helping everyone else. Locals going without while strangers feast. It stoked the fire, all right. Some Baldarians are kicking up a fuss round the front of the barn as we speak. If I wasn't wearing this uniform, I'd walk round there and teach them a lesson they'd never forget. What peace. If no one steps in, there'll be bodies piled high in the streets before long. People here have gone soft, living behind the city walls, forgotten what it's like to live one day from destruction. I say we march round there and slit a few bellies, remind them how much worse things could be. What do you say? Why does it matter? Innocence makes the blood run clearer.
So, you're the lick-spittle who crushed the Bone Lord's thrall. Have you come begging, sniffing for our stones? Gortash won't like that. A throat his black hand can't choke the spit from. You'll need to bleed and carve this city if you want to turn him to grave meat. He shivers at the thought. When you find the Lordling, tell him Oren is watching.
So Oren is a shapeshifter. How long has she been watching?
I'm busy. Mind your own. What's that?
Boy.
My! The fates move in strange and scrumptious ways. I am delighted to see you again. After our little interlude at last light, I was worried you'd gone quite mad. Did it? I'm not so sure. I'm not in the city yet, you see. I'd quite like to get inside, but it's difficult to shuffle your way to the top of the queue when you're, well, as big as an ox. But what if I was smaller, more discreet? Maybe then a kind soul might bring me through, right in their little pocket. Ooh. This day has ended so much better than it started. Now, you don't worry about me. I'll be a good, quiet little apple you can tuck into the corner of your pack, just until we're inside the city walls. Hail, Cyric! I can't wait to get inside.
That might be worth a look.
Wife and kid, are you?
That's not what I meant. But if you do insist on continuing to be difficult...
The place was empty. Keep those thugs away from my family.
Danuvia! Get these spotters out of my house now!
Arthur, sweetheart, you paid me and my boys to be caravan guards, not cattle wranglers. If you want us to get our hands dirty, it'd be our pleasure. But that'll be extra.
I just want to remove these unlawful interlopers from my property.
My point exactly.
They're like kobolds. You let one in and soon the place will be crawling with them.
Ye gods, this guy's begging to get smacked.
I'm a very magnanimous individual, but this is my home! Either they leave, or I'll make them. Fine. They can stay. Just don't blame me when they turn on you like the mongrels they are.
respect your hustle, sweetheart, but it won't work on me. You've stepped on the Guild's toes, and we'd like a little something to make it better.
The Guild, a loose coalition unifying every criminal outfit in the city under one collective rule, from cut purses to contract killers.
I'd say you'll live to regret it, but honestly, I'm not so sure you'd live. You're serious? Let's forget this unpleasantness ever happened. Come on, boys. We've got places to be.
Not quite sure why you stood up for us like that, but I won't say I'm not grateful. Thanks. And may Torm keep you. Same way lots of us did. Trying to get away from the army of the Absolute. If you had the chance to put a roof over your family's heads after being on the run for Torm knows how long, wouldn't you? We will stay. For now. I just hope he doesn't pay anyone else to come sniffing round. Thank you. And may Torm keep you. You're the first person in this city to have our backs.
What are you calling this? Precisely how many red cats are missing?
Hi! Welcome to the Rivington General. Browse carefully. The weapons are sharp. Hi! Want a blade? Or a bow? Or a dagger? Or maybe a spear is more your thing? You look like you know how to use a spear. By spear. What'd you say? Huh? Oh, yay! Want more? Want...
Yeah, well, this time they won't feel
There must be something.
Stelmane is dead.
Great headline.
This does not bode well.
Outraged. Front page material. That great headline.
What's that?
Another one. What's going on?
It's the Elder Brain. There's something happening to it.
As long as we stand together, we can never be truly broken.
The hunter has nothing to say to you. He seems to have other things on his mind.
Led emotion clouded our judgment, and it almost doomed us. We do nothing. The innocent will suffer just the same. We have no good choices. Wait for the vampires to strike here.
And let the marshal all their strength against us.
Rechtei Hathran Rust. Frey Valdisk Durovna. Frey Vald Iskablast.
You've clearly walked into some kind of ceremony, but it's nothing that you recognize.
Im Orak. Nete. Krasin. Netra. We would not normally tolerate outsiders at a time like this. The slayer of Ketheric Thorn. Well, these are strange times indeed. A fine trophy. Perhaps you would like to claim another. Baldur's Gate is haunted by many things, but one of its most insidious is the vampire Cazador. For years, His foul spawn have stolen away innocents at night, whisking them back to his palace. Recently, they struck our camp. They took our children, every last one. Our whole future. They tore us to pieces. Vampire spawn and werewolves. I have never seen a vampire's lair so heavily guarded. What's left of my tribe is wounded and broken. We cannot stand against him to save our children. But perhaps the Slayer of Ketheric could. Then we will settle for blood. Cazador must be destroyed. For the safety of the city, and to make sure no one else must feel our pain. If you do this, our entire tribe will be in your debt. On our honor, it will be repaid. May the gods keep you, and damn your enemies.
No screaming children. No laughter. No scolding words. There is only silence and pain. I know tears will not bring our children back. There is nothing. It is only
I say?
Bloody savages, a lot of them.
We're as desperate as the rest of these savages. They just had the sense to move quicker than us.
The state of this car. Wait, what were they thinking?
They wasn't thinking. Starving folk tend not to.
If they just lined up and taken their fair shares, we'd have had plenty for everyone.
If won't get us fed and watered.
Look at that. Broken and made.
You remember that spiced apple loaf we had at Waterdeep? Oh, the big one.
God, I can practically smell it.
Shut it! Scavenge whatever you can from this mess. We'll make something out of it. Take the wood from the cart too. That'll be good for a fire, if nothing else.
Find us bloody keepers, I say.
Bloody savages, a lot of them.
We're as desperate as the rest of these savages. They just had the sense to move quicker than us.
The state of this car. Wait, what were they thinking?
They wasn't thinking. Starving folk tend not to.
If they just lined up and taken their fair shares, we'd have had plenty for everyone.
If won't get us fed and watered.
remember that spiced apple loaf we had in Waterdeep? Oh, the big one.
God, I can practically smell it.
Shut it! Scavenge wherever you can from this mess. We'll make something out of it. Take the wood from the cart too. That'll be good for a fire, if nothing else.
Find us bloody keepers, I say.
Bloody savages, a lot of them.
We're as desperate as the rest of these savages. They just had the sense to move quicker than us.
The state of this car. Wait, what were they thinking?
They wasn't thinking. Starving folk tend not to.
If they just lined up and taken their fair shares, we'd have had plenty for everyone.
If won't get us fed and watered.
Look at that! Finest pie that fruit could have made. Oh,
You remember that spiced apple loaf we had in Waterdeep? Oh, the big one.
God, I can practically smell it.
Shut it! Scavenge wherever you can from this mess. We'll make something out of it. Take the wood from the cart too. That'll be good for a fire, if nothing else.
Find us bloody keepers, I say.
Bloody savages, a lot of them.
We're as desperate as the rest of these savages. They just had the sense to move quicker than us.
The state of this car. Wait, what were they?
If you're here to fill an empty stomach, look elsewhere. Folks swarmed what little was had, stuffing their pockets. Bloody animals.
Look at that!
Back off! I found these apples first!
We got here first, friend. You're welcome to whatever scraps we leave behind. Take the wood from the cart too. That'll be good for a fire, if nothing else.
Find us bloody keepers, I say.
Bloody savages, a lot of them.
We're as desperate as the rest of these savages.